Alright guys, on Exaslip 7.3, we're dealing with setting up some spreadsheets and being able to program formulas when there's changing values and doing that in a spreadsheet so it'll do it for us. Okay, so let's review some terminology here. Up in here in the spreadsheet, this is your address box. So like B3 means I'm right here at this location. It's address, where this is at. Okay, this display bar, when I click on there, the display bar comes up and we can program formulas in there tell us to calculate things. It can do algebraic formulas for us, so we don't have to do them all by hand. The program will just do it together for us. All right, so for example, in this case, in this example here, they've got 4 times A3, which means whatever is an A3. So A3 is right here, it's 1. And we're talking about squares here, and we're trying to program this thing to find the perimeter of the square for me, or the distance around it, and the area. We want to program it so it will do it for us for different size squares. So the formula they have programmed here is 4 times A3. So the A3 is the side length of this square. It's 1. To find the perimeter of it, it's saying take 4 times whatever value is in here. And we have a 1 typed in, so that just means take 4 times 1. And that would give me the perimeter, because I know the perimeter has 4 equal sides on a square. So I just need to do this 4 times, so I take it times 4. But remember, when we program these, to tell the computer to calculate it for me, we have to always start with an equal sign in this display bar. And that tells you to equal it or to calculate the formula that you put in there to do it for you. So if I put a 1 in here, it's automatically, if we program it this way, it's automatically going to tell me its perimeter. 4 times whatever's in A3. So 4 times 1 is 4. Now if I want to find the area, okay, the area we know is length times width, right? Length times width, or side times side, because they're the same. So I'm going to have a different formula for that. So we're going to talk about this here in a little bit here. So let's do, to complete the spreadsheet, we'll do that in a second. You guys were doing that calculating, but we'll show you another one and we'll write those in. But technically we want the spreadsheet to do it for us. So what formula will you enter in cell B4? Which B4 is right here. So if I would click on that, it would highlight like this. And that is B4. And it says, what formula will you enter in cell B4? So guys, when I have it highlighted, again, it'll type in here. It'll show up in here too. Okay, so the formula I would have to put in here, the formula, I would type it up here once it's highlighted. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this one they had. And remember, I have to start with equal. So I want this to equal. And I'm finding the perimeter of this square that has a side of 1.5 now. So I know I need to take 1.5 times 4. I got to tell the computer to do it for me. So I would take whatever is in A4, which we know is 1.5, A4 times, use the asterisk, times 4, because there's 4 equal sides, so I can just multiply by 4. Okay, I could have said A4 plus A4 plus A4 plus A4. Okay, but we know that means multiplying by 4, so we make it simpler. And if I do A4 times 4, it would pop in the answer there for me. And we'll look at those answers here in a little bit. Okay, so A4 times 4 would do that for me. Okay, so that would be my answer here. Okay, and the formula, remember, you have to start it with an equal sign. Equals A4 times 4. If I program that in there, it'll automatically do it for me. Okay. On C, what formula will you enter in cell C4? So now, I don't want B4, I want C4. So I'm out here. What would I tell the computer to do? Erase this here. What would I tell the computer to do if I wanted to find, this time, I want to find the area of this square. And to find area, we know that's length times width. So I just need to take 1.5 times 1.5. Well, remember, we got to tell its location, its address. It's A4. And I got to take it times itself, right? Length times width, or this times itself. So A4 times A4, say equals A4 times A4. And that's just its length times its width. It's telling me to take 1.5 times 1.5. Boom. It'll calculate the area for me automatically. And that's what's the great thing about spreadsheets. Then I can just enter these, and all of a sudden I've got the information is right there. It calculates it all for me instantly, and I don't have to go through and find them all myself. That's the nice thing with computers. And I just programmed in an algebraic formula length times width here, or each side times 4 finds your perimeter. Okay, so those, if I do that, it'll do it for me. So let's go look. Here we're going to switch over and have this and kind of take a look at the whole thing. And you guys can be copying these in here. 6 and 2.25, it's doing it for me. So take a minute to copy those in. I'll pause it if you need to. Okay, but I'm going to continue here with what this would look like as a graph. Even though we didn't graph it, we know we can graph every situation. All right, so I'll pause it for a second. You guys copy and then we'll get back together. All right, so now that we've got them copied, if I want to compare, guys, I'm going to go up a little bit more now, make sure we can see this graph. We know we can graph every situation. So on graph 1, we're going to graph the side compared to the perimeter. So you see you have 1, 4. The first point is 1, 4. If I go down here where you can see, point 4, 16. So I've got coordinates of 4, 16, and I can list all of those. And if I graph every one of those points, guys, notice it's a straight line like we've done before. And we know it's straight because it's always 4 times more. The perimeter is always 4 times more. 8 is 4 times more than 2. 4 is 4 times more than 1. Okay, so 5 times 4 is 20. It comes in 4 more times. So that's a straight line. Every time I go over 1, the perimeter goes up 4. So again, it's that constant. Whereas when I'm here, notice these points on this graph, they aren't constant. This is area. Okay, so if I go over 1, I go up 1, but if I go over 1.5, I go up 2.5. It's not increasing at the same rate, so the design looks different, or the picture looks different. It is not graphed as a straight line because it's not a constant rate. So we'll graph all kinds of different things that'll look different as you get older here.